Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Hollyoaks Darren Osborne will go missing in upcoming scenes, amid his struggles with his children Frankie and JJ. Earlier this year, Frankie opened up to Darren and revealed that her twin brother JJ had been sexually abusing her. Darren supported his daughter through her ordeal, including after the death of the twins' mom Susan, who initially refused to believe Frankie. Best streaming services. After the show's time jump, JJ was awaiting trial for the sexual abuse charges, but on the day of his plea hearing, he collapsed outside the court and was later diagnosed with leukemia. Jay's illness has made things very difficult for Darren, as he wants to support his son through his treatment, while also remembering the horrific things he did to Frankie. The teenager was recently told that his best hope of survival was a bone marrow transplant, and concerned he was too much of a burden to his family, JJ ran away from the hospital. Hollyoaks star Danny Mac speaks out on Dodger Savage return. In Monday's episode, October 28, JJ returned to the village and left an apology note for Frankie, before collapsing and being rushed back to hospital with pneumonia. Darren found out that he wasn't a match for JJ's bone marrow, and as he told Frankie that she was her brother's last hope, it was clear that he was struggling to cope with this devastating sequence of events. Later this week, Frankie will confront JJ as he becomes increasingly unwell, as she demands answers about why he abused her. Hollyoaks' Stephanie Davis shares health update after hospital dash amid pregnancy. It has now been revealed that Darren will soon cause panic when he disappears from the village, with his whereabouts unknown to his family. In scenes that will air next week, Jack is worried about his son's disappearance, especially as he hasn't taken his mobile phone with him. But Nancy isn't as concerned about where her husband is, as she assumes that Darren is being flaky, and she is too busy looking after an ill Morgan and an upset Frankie. Hollyoaks Georgie Porter teases returns in Theresa exit story. While Nancy is preoccupied taking care of the home, Jack takes matters into his own hands and continues to encourage the police to take Darren's disappearance seriously. Will Jack be listened to, and will Darren be found? Missing in plain sight, Darren Osborne's disappearance. As the autumn leaves begin to fall, Hollyoaks finds itself shrouded in mystery and tension when beloved character Darren Osborne goes missing. His absence sends shockwaves through the village, especially for his children, Frankie and JJ, who are left confused, scared, and desperate for answers. Darren has always been the resident troublemaker with a heart of gold, a flawed yet dependable figure who always seems to find his way back to family, no matter what. But as he delves deeper into personal struggles and mounting stress, he begins to drift from those he loves. Over the past few weeks, Darren has been acting increasingly erratic, which hasn't gone unnoticed by his friends and family. Little do they know, this behavior was only the tip of an iceberg that would culminate in his sudden disappearance. The lead-up to Darren's vanishing act. Frankie, now old enough to sense when something's amiss, has recently noticed her dad becoming more distant. She mentions it to her older brother JJ, who's always tried to take on the man-of-the-house role when things go wrong. Although JJ tries to reassure his little sister, he can't help but feel uneasy. He remembers the last time Darren disappeared. It was a rough patch for the family, and they struggled to get by emotionally and financially. JJ vows he won't let that happen again. Darren's stress, though, is compounded by financial issues. Unbeknownst to his family, he's been keeping a significant debt hidden. This secret has weighed heavily on him, and a particularly tense encounter with an old friend from his past in London hints at more troubling connections. When Darren is overheard talking on the phone, JJ's suspicions intensify. JJ hears his father arguing with someone about a payment deadline, cryptic phrases that hint at dangerous stakes. Days before Darren's disappearance, he starts to confide in Nancy, expressing his fears about what might happen if he can't pay up. But rather than seeking help, Darren retreats further, ashamed of his situation. He assures Nancy that he'll fix everything, though she knows he's struggling more than he lets on. Her concerns deepen, but Darren's pride keeps him from fully opening up. Instead, he leaves his home in the dead of night for a supposed business trip, claiming he needs some time to sort things out. After days without hearing from Darren, Nancy, Frankie, and JJ grow increasingly worried. His phone goes straight to voicemail, and there's no trace of him on social media, a strange occurrence for the usually active Darren. The family's concern shifts to alarm, and Nancy decides it's time to involve the police. As news of Darren's disappearance spreads throughout the village, the community rallies around his family. Nancy, deeply conflicted between her frustration and her fear for his safety, struggles to keep it together for Frankie and JJ. Their questions are incessant and heartbreaking. Where's Dad? Why hasn't he called? She can barely answer them without the weight of her own fears clouding her words. Darren's best mate, Luke, comes forward, revealing that Darren had been acting strangely for weeks, often disappearing for hours at a time with no explanation. This clue drives the search in new directions, as friends and family begin to wonder if Darren might have returned to old habits, ones he had long fought to overcome. But even if that were the case, Nancy knows Darren would never willingly abandon his children. Clues and complications. Meanwhile, JJ decides to take matters into his own hands. Fueled by a sense of responsibility and the determination to protect his family, JJ sneaks out to find any clues on Darren's whereabouts. He searches places he thinks his dad would go, even sneaking into Darren's laptop for any hidden messages or emails. It's here that he stumbles upon an unsent email draft to Nancy, where Darren expresses guilt, fear, and a veiled hint about running out of time. JJ's discovery confirms his worst fears, that his father had been in trouble and felt powerless to protect his family from it. JJ reaches out to Stay, Darren's other close friend, who promises to help JJ navigate the situation. Steve, who has also struggled with secrets and redemption, sees himself in JJ's desperation. Together, they set out to follow Darren's last known movements, retracing his steps to places he used to visit, hoping for any sign of him. In a chilling twist, they encounter Darren's friend from London, the mysterious man who'd recently contacted Darren. This friend, an imposing figure named Marcus, feigns concern when questioned, but JJ senses his hidden motives. After a heated confrontation, Marcus hints that Darren's disappearance might not have been voluntary. JJ is left to wonder if his father has been forced into hiding, or worse. Hope and heartbreak. Back in the village, Nancy and Frankie struggle to hold on to hope. They cling to small memories of Darren, his laugh, his clumsy ways of expressing love, and his relentless devotion to family. But as days turn into weeks, hope fades, and JJ's determination to find answers intensifies. He tells Frankie stories of Darren's bravery, vowing to keep searching until he brings their father home. But even JJ begins to grapple with the possibility that his father may never return. Just when all seems lost, a breakthrough occurs. Steve and JJ uncover a lead linking Darren to an old, abandoned factory outside Hollyoaks, where he may have been held against his will. They rush to the location, finding traces that Darren had indeed been there. An old family photo he'd kept in his wallet lies crumpled in a corner. Though Darren is still nowhere to be found, the discovery provides a glimmer of hope that he may be alive and closer than they'd feared. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our Hollyoaks Update YouTube channel for more update news.